Banyana, my name is Litia and I'm from the beautiful island of Laos and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Casey, I'm from Tavua. We love Today FM in Tavua. Today FM rocks.
My name is Selina, I'm from Tavenga-Vengamba. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Pula, my name is Carlo. I love listening to the music in Today FM, in Malak Island. Today FM rock.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news tonight, staff locked out after illegal walk-off. Men top suicide list, says Lifeline Fiji. An application period for subsidized student e-transport cards extended.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Amrita Sagar.
Some staff of the Air Terminal Services, or ATS Limited, were today locked out of the building after returning from a meeting. The ATS staff who were locked out claimed they had gone for a beneficiary meeting. However, this was deemed illegal by ATS Chief Executive Harry Money. Filipine Caso has more.
This was the scene outside the ATS head office this afternoon, as some staff were not allowed back into the building as they had illegally walked off their jobs to attend a meeting. At around 1 p.m, the staff had gathered to discuss some issues which have been affecting them.
One of each is the concern that was raised about some information that was received by the trust of certain members of the public expressing interest in purchasing the 49% shareholding of the company. And we, amongst other issues, felt that it was imperative that our members hear the concerns that has been raised by us, and this is amongst other breaches by the management of the company.
It's really hard to understand how people who claim themselves to be part of the shareholding of ATS to go ahead and pull people out, and for people, for that matter, at the behest of their association, their asset, to walk out and just leave everyone else high and dry. That's unacceptable.
However, the staff who had gathered at the meeting stated this was a beneficiary meeting and not a strike or walkout.
This is not directly related to the strike itself, but this is a beneficiaries meeting that was called to express our concerns and to come to a resolution on the steps that we need to take going forward in the best interest of Air Terminal Services.
You must let our employees and all else that you cannot do things illegally, and if you choose that pathway, you will have to pay the price.
Some of these issues that were raised by the staff were unfair treatment, sexual harassment and workers not being looked after. They'd also called for the removal of ATS Chief Executive Harry Money. ATS has also served these staff with notices today. Meanwhile, Board ATS Chair Ria Said Kayum says it is rather sad that this sort of irresponsible behavior by some members of the union is causing embarrassment not only to ATS but Fiji as a whole. Said Kayum says even if the disruption at the airport was for a few hours only, it still painted a bad image of Fiji. Filipine Caso, FBC News.
71% of the suicide cases recorded in the last 6 years involved men, while 54% of cases involved women. Non-governmental organization Lifeline Fiji, which aims to reduce suicide in the country, has revealed that since 2011, 704 Fijians have committed suicide, while 772 have attempted to take their own lives. Pranita Prakash reports.
Director of Lifeline Fiji, Archana Mani, says mental health is as important as physical health.
The purpose of the event or the campaign is primarily to encourage leaders of our community, whether they are corporate sector leaders, whether they are politicians, whether they are community leaders or civil society leaders, to really stand up and encourage people to ask for help. That there's no shame in asking for help if they're going through mental health issues. So we are primarily targeting the leaders of Fiji to really stand up and make a stance that mental health is just as important, if not more than physical health.
On average, 120 Fijians commit suicide annually. People are being urged to share their problems.
Our nature as women, we tend to talk more about our problems. We need to, we have networks which we talk to. So the behavior of asking for help is more prominent in women. But if you look at men, the definition of masculinity is very strong, where men need to be strong. You do not show any emotion. And it is for that reason men find it very hard to ask for help.
The youngest person to commit suicide is a 7-year-old, while the oldest is 82-year-old. Lifeline Fiji is urging the people to call their National Crisis Helpline on 132-4544 for professional assistance. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
A heavy rain alert remains in force for the Yasawa Group, Vanuatu, Taveuni and nearby smaller islands, the Northern Lau Group, Lomai Viti and the eastern half of Viti Levu. Periods of rain, heavy at times and squally thunderstorms will affect these groups. Isolated heavy falls may lead to flash flooding as well. A trough of low pressure lies slow moving just to the north of Fiji, and associated cloud and rain affects the group. Rain is expected to ease from later tomorrow. We will bring you more updates in the weather bulletin. The application period for subsidized student e-transport cards will be open until December 22nd. Parents and guardians of students from households with a combined income of under 16,000 can apply at any education office or school location. The Education Ministry says all parents and guardians of Year 1 students entering school should check if they meet the eligibility criteria. The ministry is also encouraging parents and guardians to re-examine the eligibility criteria to determine whether or not any new circumstances have affected their eligibility, such as a parent or guardian who has retired. The cards will be available for pickup at school locations before the start of Term 1. Well, still to come, Edinburgh Drive reopen with 2 lanes from this afternoon. A new rapid response boat for NDMO. Stay with us.
Moala radada ranadika, au tikongona taunu singatoka, andou talitaka na wakaronga ng Bull FM, number 2 na serre.
Ya dora chubuli kurnambili, ibora ni patukara hambara binaranga, do talitakina na wakaronga ng Bull FM, number 2 na serre. Bula!
Bula FM, number 2 na serre.
Some staff of the Air Terminal Services, or ATS Limited, were today locked out of the building after returning from a meeting. The ATS staff who were locked out claimed they had gone for a beneficiary meeting. However, this was deemed illegal by ATS Chief Executive Hari Mani. Felipe Naikaso has more.
This was the scene outside the ATS head office this afternoon, as some staff were not allowed back into the building as they had illegally walked off their jobs to attend a meeting. At around 1 p.m., these staff had gathered to discuss some issues which have been affecting them.
One of each is the concern that was raised about some information that was received by the trust of certain members of the public expressing interest in purchasing the 49% shareholding of the company. And we, amongst other issues, felt that it was imperative that our members hear the concerns that has been raised by us, and this is amongst other breaches by the management of the company.
It's really hard to understand how people who claim themselves to be part of the shareholding of ATS to go ahead and pull people out, and for people, for that matter, at the behest of their association, their asset, to walk out and just leave everyone else high and dry. That's unacceptable.
However, the staff who had gathered at the meeting stated this was a beneficiary meeting and not a strike or walkout.
This is not directly related to the strike itself, but this is a beneficiaries meeting that was called to express our concerns and to come to a resolution on the steps that we need to take going forward in the best interest of air terminal services.
We must let our employees and all else that you cannot do things illegally, and if you choose that pathway, you will have to pay the price.
Some of these issues that were raised by the staff were unfair treatment, sexual harassment and workers not being looked after. They also called for the removal of ATS Chief Executive Harry Money. ATS has also served these staff with notices today. Meanwhile, Board ATS Chair Riazad Qayyum says it is rather sad that this sort of irresponsible behavior by some members of the union is causing embarrassment not only to ATS but Fiji as a whole. Said Qayyum says even if the disruption at the airport was for a few hours only, it still painted a bad image of Fiji. Philippa Naikaso, FBC News.
The Fiji Roads Authority will be reopening the Edinburgh Drive with 2 lanes operating from 4 p.m. Chief Executive Jonathan Moore says investigation into the cracks discovered during the recent roadworks have been completed. Moore says the consultants have advised they believe there is no imminent danger. He says the FRA will continue with a detailed investigation over the coming week, and there may be times when the road will be temporarily reduced to a single lane. The FRA says if they detect any ground movement on the highway or the surrounding area, they will be closing the road immediately. Meanwhile, motorists, local businesses and around 2,000 residents living along Mead Road, Suva can expect improved road conditions. Fulton Hogan Highways will be rehabilitating the road this month, which includes both lanes towards MH Superfresh. FHH project manager Siron Kelly says the road has potholes and some sections show signs of structural damage. Work includes milling out the deteriorated sections, cement stabilization, application of a 2-coat seal and new road markings for the sections. Police are looking for Deshwar Dinesh Dutt, who escaped from the custody of correction officers yesterday afternoon. Police said that escaped from the Nandi Magistrates Court. Anyone with information on his whereabouts is asked to call Crime Stoppers on 919 or the Divisional Command Centres. Dutt is serving a sentence after being convicted of 2 counts of aggravated robbery. He has escaped from lawful custody in the past as well. The Disaster Management Ministry has received a rapid response boat from the New Zealand High Commission that will be used for disaster and emergency response. The boat, which has been named Aitale, will be trialled in Fiji for 2 years by the NDMO. It complements the other arrival and donation of 4 amphibious sea legs in May, also from the New Zealand government. Permanent Secretary Meleti Bainimarama says this handover is another milestone in the long-standing relationship between the Fijian and the New Zealand government.
Such assets will greatly assist the ministry in reaching out to some of these communities, especially those islands in the maritime areas.
It's really a part of a pilot, an innovation or innovative approach to testing. How can we work with Fiji to test some new and innovative technologies, new response options, and enhance local resilience, in particular with provision of these types of assets.
In world news, Donald Trump has nothing but praise for the FBI when he paid a visit today, just days after saying the agency was, quote, in tatters. Separately, the U.S. president condemned the investigation into his campaign links with Russia and repeated his denial of any collusion. More from TVNZ. Ahead in sports, Pacific Games Council begins plan for the future. And Fiji men's hockey finishes 4th. Details after the break.
I'm another sort of of Nayabu Telebu. Whenever I want to tune in to listen to great music, I always tune in to my favorite radio station, Gold FM, only the classic.
My name is Lita. We love listening to Gold FM here at the Fiji Hideaway Resort and Spa. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
We here at Tano Waterfront Lautoka love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
The Pacific Minigames officially ended last night after 2 weeks of competition in various sports in Vanuatu's capital, Port Vila. While New Caledonia was crowned the overall champion, there has been some serious interest shown by Vanuatu to host the Games in the future. Vashnil Prasad reports.
After successfully hosting the 10th Pacific Minigames, Vanuatu officials say they will focus on winning the bid to host the Pacific Games in 2027. They could be closely contesting with Fiji, as we are also likely to place a bid.
But the beginning of great things to come for you as athletes, our volunteers, for our great nation of Vanuatu and Pacific countries. I would like to take this opportunity to remind the entire Pacific region that 2027 Pacific Game is 10 years away. And it is our hope that the great nation of the Pacific region will gather here once again to take part in the 2027 Pacific Games.
This year's Mini-Games has been tagged as one of the best. New Caledonia won 47 gold and were crowned the champions, while Papua New Guinea came second and Fiji finished third with 33 gold.
We thank you, the athletes, for the inspirational performances and world-class performances you have delivered. Many records have been broken, but many more precious memories have been created.
Pacific Games Council now moves its focus to the 2019 Pacific Games, which will be held in Samoa. Council Vice President Marcus Stepan says the competition among athletes will get tougher,
so that the spirit of our Pacific family of nations may be carried on with ever greater eagerness, courage and honor for the good of humanity and the peace of the world.
The Pacific Games will be held from the 8th to the 20th of July in Apia in 2019. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
The Fiji beach volleyball men's and women's team won bronze medal at the Pacific Mini Games. The men beat Tonga 21 points to 12 and 21 to 19, winning by 2 clear sets, while the women's team defeated Papua New Guinea by 2 straight sets.
Fighting hard, Tonga.
Your hands.
Come back within a point. Well, they were 3 points down, and they worked so hard in defense. Tonga, great shots from them as well. Set up by Elliot for Korowale. And that will be it. Fiji will grab the bronze medal here. Heartbreak for Tonga.
The Vanuatu Football team won gold in the men's competition after beating Solomon Islands 3 points to 2 in the deciding match yesterday. Here are the goals.
Probably the cautious approach that they're taking. Here comes a huge kick. The goalkeeper taps it away. Another header, and into the net it goes. It's Kensi Tangis. Yet another goal for Vanuatu. That was a rebound coming in, tapped away by the goalkeeper. This gold at the moment is, as here is the Solomons coming in now. Benjamin Totori looking for the space. He comes in, and Benjamin Totori has equalized for the Solomon Islands. Looks like it will be 1-1 at halftime. Will it be 1-1 at full time? And here's the cross into the box, the chance here, and into the net. What a shot that is! Elkington Molly Vakarua has cancelled the draw here. Tutizama, Benito, Benjamin, and a handball. It's a penalty for the medals for Arodo. Comes in, and he has equalized. It's the Solomon Islands that have reacted again. A great gesture towards the Pacific Islands football. Here's Kensi Tangis. Now Bonkalo, still Bonkalo, and Bonkalo has given the lead. Look at the celebration, look at the reaction. This is the man we were talking about, Bonkalo.
Team Fiji has finished third on the medal tally after 2 weeks of competition in Vanuatu, which ended yesterday. Fiji grabbed 23 gold, 27 silver and 23 bronze. PNG came second with 33 gold, 30 silver and 22 bronze. New Caledonia has won this year's Mini-Games after bagging 47 gold, 15 silver and 18 bronze. Fiji Airways National Sevens coach Gareth Weber says Sydney Sevens will be a tough tournament. Fiji will begin preparations from next week as the players are eyeing to win their first cup title in the World Rugby 7 Series in Australia.
Fiji's loss against South Africa is still fresh in the minds of the players and coach Gareth Weber. The team has vowed not to repeat the mistakes when they take on some of the best teams in its pool matches in Sydney, Australia.
Not to be, I can't ifs and buts. It's about facts, and you know, all the facts I'm going to concentrate on now is beating New Zealand, Samoa and Russia in our pool game, and then look at how we progress from there.
Captain Jerry Tuai, who has played in Sydney in the last 2 years, knows what to expect.
Sydney will be a different story for us. Sydney and Hamilton, it will be a different story.
Despite failing to win any titles in the last 2 tournaments, Beibai still has faith in his players.
We know we can beat any team in the whole tournament. If you're going to win the final, then by virtue of that, you're going to have to go through beating every team.
Fiji plays Samoa in its first match before facing Russia, then New Zealand in the tournament next month. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
There will be no break for the Fiji Airways Fijiana team following their poor performance at the first leg of the World Series. The team has started preparation for the Sydney Sevens, which will be played next month. Luciana Tangidakimbao reports.
Fijiana Sevens head coach Ilyasa Tanivola says the girls will continue with vigorous training throughout the festive season, as there is very less time left to prepare for the Sydney Sevens.
We were really disappointed, but we had to look at ourselves. You know, I don't want to panic. We just got to get some of the stuff right, which one of the biggest concerns is our fitness levels. We just got to lift it up. You know, watching our games in Dubai, our reaction time, you know, the urgency, there was no urgency in what we did on the field. So it came back to, you know, our fitness.
Tanivola says they have identified their mistakes and will work on improving those as the level of competition increases with each tournament.
It's getting up, and the girls know that. In the last series, we sort of knew what was happening. We just got to, you know, test ourselves, and every time come with away game and be the best we can be come the next tournament.
Fijiana captain Anna Maria has agreed lack of preparation led to the downfall of the team.
To 11th place from the last 2015 and 2016 series. We've been in the top 4 and now we're going down to 11th. I know we made a lot of mistakes there. That's why we dropped down to 11th place. I think it's our preparation for the Dubai Sevens. It was a not good preparation. I know Sydney 7 will be a good preparation for us.
The Sydney Sevens tournament will be held from the 26th to the 28th of next month. Luciana Tangidakimbao, FBC Sports.
The Fiji men's hockey side finished 4th in the Oceania Cup challenge in Suva. They went down to country Hockey Australia by a goal, which was scored in extra time. Vashnil Prasad reports.
This was Australia's golden goal scored in the extra time, which stole the show from the Fijians in third-place playoff. Coach Hector Smith admitted the poor performance by the national team in the week-long Oceania Challenge Cup led them to finish 4th.
Played a bad game yesterday as far as we are concerned against a very good Japanese side. We went home, thought about it and came back and played Australia.
The side were thumped by Japan in the semi-final by 5-0 yesterday and went down to Australia by a goal today.
We lost it on a penalty corner that was awarded in the few minutes. We missed our opportunity. We had a corner before them and we missed it, and I'm very proud of the boys.
For the Fijian captain, playing with the majority of the new boys was something special.
In a new place is something that we definitely always look at doing. Good opportunities. We're very fortunate to have these teams coming down.
Australian country coach Sarah Rogers was impressed with the level of competition and says our boys played their hearts out in the game.
It's a great tournament. Obviously third's not where we wanted to finish, but the boys played some pretty tough hockey through this last week, and we'd love to be back next year again. Yeah.
The challenge is expected to grow tougher as the competition progresses in future. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
Cloud and rain was experienced over the country today. Looking in the west today, a dull day with a passing shower or two. Eastwards from Pacific Harbour to Suva, it was cloudy with showers throughout the day. And up in the north, morning showers followed by a couple of soaking showers this afternoon. At sea, moderate to rough seas, very rough through the passages. And for the tides, low tide will be at 12:54 tomorrow morning with high tide at 7:03. Sunrise will be at 6:26. Now for tomorrow, periods of rain, heavy at times and squally thunderstorms over the Vanuatu, Taviuni and nearby smaller islands, northern Lao group, Lamai Viti group and the eastern half of Viti Levu is expected. Looking further onto Monday, some showers are expected. Recapping the main story. Men top suicide list, says Lifeline Fiji, and application period for subsidized student e-transport cards extended. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station, Gold FM. On to our poll question this week, we're asking, should NCD education be implemented in the school curriculum? Visit our FBC website to answer. And that was your FBC News for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Good evening.
My name is Litia and I'm from the beautiful island of Lao and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Casey, I'm from Tavua. We love Today FM in Tavua. Today FM rocks.
My name is Selina, I'm from Tavenga Vengamba. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Pula, my name is Carlo. I love listening to the music in Today FM in Malak Island. Today FM rock.
Today's hit music on Today FM.